Welcome to Dorking Out. My name is Sonia Mansfield, and we are here to talk about Old School. I can't really think of a quote from Old School right off
You're
the top
the
of my
man,
head.
Blue!
Not Blue. We're going streaking, everybody. Come on. There you go. I am on vacation, so we are re-releasing Old School because people are going back to school. Feels very appropriate. Here's my friend, my podcasting sister from another Mr. Margot D. Hello, friend.
I'm going streaking! Hello, my friend. I'm going to miss you. Sonia's going to be in Ireland for 2 weeks.
Yes.
She's going to come back really drunk and even more redheaded than she is now. I'm saying this as an Irish person. I couldn't make those jokes. We will all miss her, but we're all going to be excited for her to have such a good time in Ireland. And feel free, when we mention all of our social media call outs at the end of the show, if you have ideas for her for things she needs to do in Ireland,
Yes.
please let her know.
Yes, I will probably check my social media while I'm gone. So slide into my DMs with any of your recs. I'll take them. But in the meantime, enjoy Old School. This one was a real fun one.
Excuse me. True love is hard to find. Sometimes you think you have true love, and then you catch the early flight home from San Diego.
Today, Mitch's life took an unexpected turn.
Heidi?
What are you doing home?
And a couple of nude people jump out of your bathroom blindfolded like a damn magic show.
I'm really sorry.
Now,
Mitch, you're on the rebound. You're like an injured young fawn who's been nursed back to health, who's finally going to be re-released into the wilderness.
he's getting a little help from his friends.
I want to thank you very much for coming to the official Mitch Martin Freedom Festival. He's a very successful, very disease-free gentleman standing by the minibar.
From DreamWorks Pictures,
We are officially starting a fraternity.
This is my house. I heard you guys are starting up a fraternity. Who told you that?
and the director of Road Trip,
We're giving out bids to 14 guys.
Wait, who's this guy? He looks like he's 100 years old.
Just ring the bell, you pansy.
Good morning. Now that was a party.
I want in. Half these guys don't even go to the school.
I promised my wife I wouldn't drink tonight. Yeah, I'll do one. We're going streaking! Once it hits your lips, it's so good.
We don't take it too seriously.
You may be asking yourself, why is this cinder block tied securely to your
Earmuffs.
Don't you think this is going a little far?
Frank, just pace yourself. Sorry.
Luke Wilson,
I get the feeling you have a entirely distorted view of who I am.
Will Ferrell,
If you tell anyone about this, I'll kill you. I'm kidding. We'll come back by tonight. Okay, sweetie? Okay.
Let's go!
and Vince Vaughn.
There's my wife, always smiling. Hi, honey. Judging, watching. Look at the baby.
Be careful. That's the most powerful trank gun on the market.
Yes! Ow! That's awesome.
Old School.
You're crazy, man.
From SF Land, this is Dorking Out, a podcast for people who love to dork out about movies, TV, and everything pop culture.
Welcome to Dorking Out. My name is Sonia Mansfield, and we're going streaking. Joining me is my podcasting sister from another mister and the co-host of Dorking Out, Margot D. Hello, my friend.
You're the woman, Sonia.
You're my man, Blue. Or was it You're My Boy, Blue? Oh, gosh.
You're my boy, Blue.
I can't get anything right. This week, we are dorking out about 2003's Old School, which stars Luke Wilson, Vince Vaughn, and Will Ferrell. It also has Leah Remini, Ellen Pompeo, Alicia Cuthbert, Jeremy Piven, and Juliette Lewis. I think more movies should have Juliette Lewis.
Absolutely.
It is written and directed by Todd Phillips, and Todd Phillips did movies like Road Trip and Starsky and Hutch, and of course the trilogy. And by trilogy, I mean the Hangover movies. Did you see this movie in the theater? Let's start with that.
I don't think I did, to be honest with you. And I don't know why, because it was at a time I probably would have seen everything.
Right.
But no, I didn't see it in the movie theater. Did you?
I did. And I remember thinking it was really, really funny. The movie hasn't changed, but I think I have. Because I didn't like it this time. Did you like it this time?
I found it very slow.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I don't know about you. I got the unrated version. That's what's on Amazon.
Oh, see, I just watched the regular version.
So there are a lot of boobs in my version.
Yeah.
A lot of nudity I didn't expect. Yeah, I was surprised. I wrote down the few times I really laughed and I enjoyed.
I did too. So let's see if they're similar.
Yeah, but I'd say like for me, and I don't know about you, but it's in the first 5 minutes, I think. It's Luke Wilson leaves and gets into a cab.
Mm-hmm.
And the cab driver, he says to the cab driver, "Hey, your seatbelt's broken." And Luke, the guy just snarls at him and, "What are you, an F word?" You know?
Yeah. Immediately drops a gay slur.
And it's like, wait, what? And that's supposed to be the joke. Like, it's supposed to be like this very, I don't know. And I just like, I'm like, oh, God, when was this? And I'm like, oh, right. It's like 15 years ago. That's a long, long time ago.
This movie has things in it where if this movie had been made in the 80s, I feel like I would have been like, okay, well, that's the time, right? Like,
right.
You know, it's problematic, but, you know, it's in 85 or something. This movie was made in 2003. Like, dropping a gay slur is not cool. It is not acceptable. It's not funny. It's ridiculous that that would still happen in 2003.
We reviewed Just One of the Guys last week. That's a movie that's 1985. They made that. They managed to not do one gay slur anywhere at any time. And it was a ribald comedy, like a sex comedy. And this one, they drop it in the first 5 minutes. And there's no reason for it.
No. There's a million other jokes that could have been made there.
Yeah.
I found this movie really hard to watch. I felt like it was mean.
Yeah.
And I didn't like the lead guys they're bad people. They're kind of assholes.
They're all assholes.
Vince Vaughn character in particular is a real prick.
He's a total prick. I'll say this, though. I think he's hilarious. I think he's very quick. I mean, I think like the earmuffs thing.
That is on my list of funny things.
That's funny. I think it's very funny when Will Ferrell's getting married and he's trying to talk him out of it on the steps, you know.
See, that's a dick move.
That's a total dick move. But even that, but like you said, like I'm watching this movie. I'm like, okay, you have this huge cast. Leah Remini, who's beautiful and super funny.
Yeah.
She was the star of King of Queens. Why do you have her just walking around with a baby in arms? You never give her a joke. She just rolls her eyes at Vince Vaughn the whole time. Are they married? Do they like each other? Like, what's going on? I mean, all of these relationships, like Will Ferrell, like gets married to Perry Reeves. He appears to be happy. He's in his mid-30s. It's not like he's fresh out of college.
Right.
He made an adult choice. And in 2 minutes, he's over her.
Well, I don't even think he's over her. Like, he keeps fantasizing about her and trying to get her back. And, you know, spoiler alert for Old School, but at the end, he's like living in a frat house and he's a DJ on the college radio. And I was like, well, now he's a fucking man-child? That's not a happy ending.
Yeah.
Because they don't get back together. Like, she's like, she's actually the smartest character in the movie.
Well, yeah, she sees him streaking and she's like, well, that's stupid.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to put up with that. I'm not going to have a child with you. I'm not going to do right.
Right.
And but all the other, she's the only one who has any kind of agency over herself. Yes. But all the other women characters are just like ciphers for the men.
They're all humorless shrews.
Yeah.
All of them, except for her, who actually realizes, hey, maybe we aren't right for each other. Because you want to be Frank the Tank, and I don't want that. And he's like, oh, okay. And then that's the end of that. I'm like, what?
And why am I supposed to feel sorry for 35-year-old men that want to be in college? Am I supposed to relate to that? All of them are white.
Mm-hmm.
They all seem to have decent jobs. They're married. Okay. So Luke Wilson is being dumped by his girlfriend. And I think that's really super funny.
Yeah.
That she's arranging an orgy in his absence.
Every time he travels for work, she organizes a gangbang.
I think that was hilarious. I mean, that made me laugh.
Juliette Lewis she's always awesome. And she is really funny in that scene.
She can make anything seem kind of winsome and cute. Like she's just like, she has that appeal about her. But the other two, like, they have good looking wives.
Yeah.
They seem to have decent jobs. They have nice homes.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what are they complaining about?
I don't know.
And I get it. Like, I don't know. Do you want to hang around a bunch of 20-year-olds? I don't.
They're exhausting.
It's very exhausting. I was exhausting when I was 20 years old.
I didn't understand it at all. I don't. There were a whole bunch of movies like this in the early 2000s, so it was like,
right.
Yeah, I mean, The Hangover obviously is one of those. Knocked Up was one of those. You know, I think Adam Sandler's made kind of a series of these types of movies with these like idiotic children, I should say, man-children that don't grow up, and we're supposed to think that's funny. And I was like, like I said, at the time, I thought this was funny, but now I watch it and I was like, I think it's really sad, and I think these guys are assholes.
They're assholes and they're pathetic.
Yeah.
And it's the whole thing. Like, first of all, so Luke Wilson, he leaves his girlfriend because she's having gangbangs, but he decides to rent a gigantic house near a college. So it's the size of a fraternity that what one would be. Like, wait, how much does he make doing what he does?
Right.
But then everybody moves in. And of course, you know, it's a Hollywood movie. Like, these parties are like over the top.
Yeah. It's like Snoop Dogg's performing. And
Snoop Dogg was funny. And apparently he only did it because he wanted to be Huggy Bear in Starsky and Hutch.
I don't blame him.
I don't blame him either. I would want to be Huggy Bear. For sure. I just, go ahead.
The whole thing is like, so he moves into this huge house.
Mm-hmm.
And then, like, they have their huge party, and, like, Snoop Dogg performs, and there's, like, you know, hundreds of students there and all this stuff. And then the next day, Jeremy Piven shows up as the evil dean, because this kind of movie requires, like, that kind of character. So we have an evil dean who shows up and is like, well, actually, this house has been designated, like, for student housing, so you need to move out. And instead of just moving out, I mean, he seems to have enough money that he could rent a gigantic fucking house that's right next to the college campus. He's like, well, I already paid my first and last month. You're fucking rich, and they're evicting you. You're going to get that shit back. You're not going to get that shit back because you just fucking trashed the house. But, you know, move, dude. But that's not the point of the movie, right? The point is he needs to find himself by acting like an immature prick, I guess.
And he wakes up to Elisa Cuthbert.
Yeah.
And the joke is that we think she's like a freshman in college, but she's a senior in high school.
Isn't
so
that
she's
hilarious?
Underage.
That's hilarious. That's so funny. It's so funny that he slept with an underage girl and he destroyed his best friend's marriage. That's so fun. And an old man died.
All right. So let's get into okay, I'll say one of the things so they decide to start a fraternity, like make it official so they can't get kicked off. So they're all living in this house together, and like living with 12 people. I mean, can you imagine? None of this appeals to me. I will say the recruiting process when they're going around in the van and they're grabbing people, that did make me laugh. Especially when they get blue. Yeah. At the bus stop.
I thought it was funny when Will Ferrell hops out and he yells at one of their wives and is like, if you tell anyone, I'll kill you. And she's so scared. And he's like, I'm just kidding. Like, no, we're totally, we'll have him back by tonight. Like, the other thing that made me laugh was at Will Ferrell's wedding. Him and his wife are dancing, and there's the band, the Dan Band. Do you know?
Yes.
And they're doing their very famous cover of Total Eclipse of the Heart. And like, it starts out very normal, you know, and then he just starts filling it with the F-bomb. So it's like, I fucking need you more than ever. And like, and they like turn around and like look at him like, what is that happening? And it just keeps happening like throughout the reception. He's just swearing through all the songs. And I thought that was really funny. That made me laugh. And like I said, earmuffs makes me laugh.
Right.
What do we think of poor Ellen Pompeo? What do we think of Dr. Meredith Grey?
She's Nicole in this movie, and just this very wafy, sweet person, single mom. Of course, she's dating Craig Kilborn. Of course, he's playing a dickhead. Of course, she doesn't know.
And Craig Kilborn as himself.
As himself. And Craig, of course, she doesn't know that he cheats on her. And he's so blatant about it. He's doing it at the party that they're attending together.
Right.
He's like James Caan in The Godfather, nailing the bridesmaid. It's the epitome of a thankless part.
It totally is. She has nothing to do other than look adorable. Everybody drink. She does. She's very cute. But
she's super cute.
She's given nothing to do, and there's no reason why she keeps hanging around Mitch. Because
Mitch is a loser.
He's such a loser. And like every time she sees him, he's doing something stupid. I'm like, why do you keep coming back and hanging out with this guy?
Were they friends or something in high school, or he had a crush on her?
They make mention that they were like friends in high school and that they had crushes on each other, but they didn't know it.
Yeah, God, this is like such a dumb guy writing this.
It totally is.
Yeah. Yeah. I just think she's wasted.
Yeah.
Not drunk. I'm sorry. She's not drunk. I mean, her talent is not being used.
Exactly.
Sorry, Ellen Pompeo representatives.
Please, we're not saying she's an alcoholic. We're just saying she's wasted in this movie. Will Ferrell works really hard in this movie.
Oh, yeah. He's breaking a sweat.
He is breaking a sweat. He is trying so hard. And like, he is probably one of the funniest things in the movie. I did like it when he went streaking. I thought that was funny.
That still is hilarious.
But it was funny. Like, so he goes to the party, the first big party, and he's not going to drink. And the kids are like, come on, do this beer bong with us. And he's like, no, I have a big day tomorrow. I'm going to Home Depot and maybe Bed Bath & Beyond, and then he's like, oh, my life sounds shitty. So he starts doing beer bongs and I'd rather go to Home Depot.
I know.
I'm so old. I never did beer bongs. That was not my jam, but beer is my jam, but not beer bongs. I just thought it was funny. It was like this, oh, my life sounds so shitty that I'm going to do this now. And then his wife later finds him running down the street naked all by himself. He thinks everyone's following him. Nobody's following him.
Let's go streaking. Come on. Hi, honey. Oh.
Yeah. Ooh.
Yeah, that was really funny. But then they take it to like the pledges now follow these guys around in their real lives.
Yes.
And they boss them around and scream at them. And like that's like that whole frat culture. I just don't like it at all. It's just not. I didn't know it in my life. I didn't go to a sorority. Didn't belong to a sorority. So all that shit, I'm like, what are we even doing? And like you're 34 years old, like, and you're yelling at these 20-year-old guys trying to be in your fraternity. I don't know. But they have the KY jelly and the wrestling.
Yeah.
And that's where Blue dies.
Yeah.
And it's I don't know. I was like, oh, that sounds really gross and unsanitary.
Well, and who are all these girls?
Right.
That are like taking their tops off and wrestling and college parties. Is this something that happens?
It's not at San Jose State.
It didn't happen at Chico State either.
Yeah, I don't know where. I mean, I don't know if this is, and this is supposedly the politically correct times when it's like this is all happening.
Right.
Like, it's like they're trying to outdo Animal House.
They did not succeed.
No, they did not succeed. And so, but I will say another thing I wrote down where I laughed. Is the very next scene after Blue dies is Will Ferrell singing Dust in the Wind.
Right.
That cracks me up.
And that's another example of Will Ferrell is busting his ass to make this movie funny.
Yeah.
He really is working it. I also want to mention that not only did Mitch sleep with a high school student, she turns out to be the boss's daughter, of course, which goes nowhere. It has
of course she has to see him when he's on a date with Ellen Pompeo.
Right.
And then has to say to him like, hey, sorry about that. Like, obviously he's on a date with this woman.
Yeah,
why
shut
are you
the fuck
talking
up.
Shut the fuck up. It's, you're not a thing.
Yeah. Well, she's in high school. She doesn't know any better.
Yeah.
It's just so weird because they make her his boss's daughter, but nothing ever comes of it. Nothing. There's no like, oh, and now the boss knows that this happened, or nothing.
No.
I don't think it ever comes up again. Does it?
No.
I don't think so. No, it's so weird.
No. And so then Jeremy Piven, he's like, he's the mean dean. He's the opposite of the PCU character.
I wrote the same thing. I was like, oh, maybe it's the same character, but he's all grown up and changed.
It's a completely different person. So they have to basically like apply to the school to show that they deserve to be a fraternity, and they debate James Carville.
Yeah.
Okay. I did laugh when Will Ferrell dressed as the mascot went through the ring of fire and crashed.
It's because I like it when mascots get hurt. It has nothing to do with Will Ferrell.
But that's him once again.
Yes.
Yeah, and then he does the ribbon dance after that.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, he's working his ass off in this movie.
It is the Will Ferrell show, this movie. But then you get a scene with like Frank and his wife doing like couple therapy, and he's like, well, now that I'm married, it means I can only sleep with like one woman for the rest of my life, and I'm imagining what this woman's underwear looks like and blah blah blah. So she kicks him out, and I just kept going, like, you didn't think about any of that before you got married?
Right.
It just seems so weird. The whole thing is like, my wife, my job, my kids, my life is so shitty, let me join your frat.
Right.
And I'm like, you're all a bunch of man children, and you should be thankful that you have a wife and kids and a job.
And a decent job. Like,
right.
I don't feel sorry for you. You know what I mean? Right. You're not downtrodden. There's nothing for me to root for here.
No.
Like I said, when I was younger, I just kind of went along with it. But now that I'm older, I'm just like, fuck these guys. Who do they think they are? And how weird are you hanging around 18, 19-year-olds? What's wrong with you?
Exactly. Like, and then there's even like a scene where Nicole shows up at Mitch's house and she brings him a housewarming gift because she's thoughtful and shit. And Bernard's like, Bernard is Vince Vaughn's character. He shits all over the gift. Like, those are shitty and blah, blah, like to her face. I'm like, you're such a dick. Why is he such a dick?
I don't understand what Leah Remini. I mean, I guess he makes a lot of money. He's the speaker guy. That's his whole thing. He sells speakers.
You know his business is bankrupt now.
Oh yeah, that doesn't exist anymore.
Yeah,
no.
He sells beepers and speakers. It's like you're Radio Shack now. You're totally out of business. Sorry, Bernard. What do you think about the blowjob class with Chris Elliott?
Oh no! It's with Andy. What's his face?
Oh, Andy Dick. It's Andy Dick.
Thank you.
Oh my God, I'm so terrible for saying Chris Elliott.
No, it's fine.
Sorry,
okay.
Chris Elliott.
Sorry, Chris Elliott. You're better than this part.
You are.
Why did they have to hire a guy to do this?
Right.
And it was a gay man, of course.
Right.
But would you go to a blowjob class? Like, I would never do this. And they're all acting like it's normal.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. It's...
Maybe this is something that other people do, and if any of our listeners want to reach out to us on Twitter and tell us about your blowjob classes, we'll love to hear about it. But this is not something that me and my friends do. Or if they do it, they don't invite me because, I don't like to learn. So maybe that's why they don't invite me.
It just seems odd to me to have, and it's just like Andy Dick, like, oh, just let him do his Andy Dick thing.
Yeah.
Which turns out he's a total molester and weirdo. And
yes.
Actually, he's unconscious right now. He was knocked unconscious a couple of days ago, so I should probably say anything.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, some people have died after doing a podcast.
Yeah, after we talk about them on the podcast, they die. So we need to use our power responsibly, Margot.
We
do.
So I like the Andy Dick scene. It's great. He's awesome.
Everyone loves Andy Dick. Everyone.
It's not stupid or trite at all. It's completely, the whole thing where she's blowjobbing a cucumber, but it looks like his penis is in her mouth and her husband looks through the window. Oh my God.
So funny.
Ugh.
And then there's a big like Revenge of the Nerds style competition to save their frat.
Right.
And keep the kids in school. That I'm like, well, this is literally from Revenge of the Nerds.
And they cheat, by the way. Like, they get somebody to give them all the answers.
Yeah.
To the written test. So they don't win it honorably.
Yeah. I keep going back to how mean and ugly this movie is.
Yeah.
And the end bummed me out. The idea that like Frank's marriage is over and he's working at the college radio station and living in a frat house, and I'm like, oh my God, he's like Billy from St. Elmo's Fire now. I'm like, that's an awful ending.
But he's going to be with Juliette Lewis. She invited him to a party.
That's true.
And he's super psyched about it.
That's so weird. Oh my gosh. I also never understood why Nicole was hanging around Mitch at all. I just kept going back to that. Like,
right.
They don't have a big scene where they like kiss or make out or anything. So I guess that's good too.
But Nicole, I guess maybe a single mother, she thinks her options aren't great.
I'm like, that's not true. She's adorable.
She's completely adorable.
She needs to improve her self-esteem. Maybe she should take a blowjob class.
I forgot all about that till you said. I'm like, oh, God. That was one of those scenes. Like I'm rolling my eyes. I'm in my apartment. I'm like, what? I'm like, oh, for God's sakes! Like just shit that doesn't happen in real life, or normal people wouldn't do it, or you wouldn't invite like 5 friends that would be like, sure, let's all do this together. Like what?
They should have a woman read the script. Like, other than the actresses, I guess. Did you like Wedding Crashers?
I did at the time.
Mm-hmm. Me too.
That's another one that hasn't aged that well.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's another one. Yeah, it's another horny comedy. I'll tell you this. I think Owen Wilson's the funnier Wilson brother.
I like Luke Wilson. I do. I just don't know if this is the kind of movie for him.
I like him in Charlie's Angels.
Right.
When at Cameron Diaz's boyfriend, love interest.
He's a good really straight man. That's what it is. Like in Idiocracy, like he's the straight man. Everyone else around him is weird. Like in Charlie's Angels, like he's the straight. Like when he does that sort of thing, he's really good. Although he was good in the Royal Tenenbaums.
I haven't seen that in a long time, but yeah.
He's good in that. But I just don't think he's like a super comedy guy.
I think his brother Owen would have been better.
For sure.
Yeah.
And I remember loving Wedding Crashers at the time. And now I'm like, I wonder if I revisit it, if I'll have a similar reaction.
I tried watching it a couple of years ago and I was like, ooh, the Jane, what's her face? Jane Seymour character is really weird. It's
I don't know. The idea of these guys going to weddings and like tricking chicks into sleeping with them, I'm like, I don't know if I'm going to think it's as funny as I did back then.
But, back then I was going to a lot of weddings and I would have loved to meet somebody that cute. Like nobody that cute's ever been to a wedding.
That's true.
I've been to.
That's true.
Part of it.
I'm not really into Vince Vaughn now. Like he doesn't like do it for me. But back in the day, I actually thought Vince Vaughn was quite handsome.
He is handsome. He's classically handsome.
Yeah.
And he's very funny. And like I like him on the talk shows.
Mm-hmm.
He's a little more self-deprecating. He's pretty funny. His politics are weird. I think he's a libertarian or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I can't even remember the last movie he made that I saw and I liked, but I back in the day thought he was quite handsome.
Well, yeah, he's tall. He's got the classic, nice eyes, good voice.
All true. All true. I'm like, what else do I want to say about
I think I said all the funny things. Hold on, let me just double check my list. Earmuffs, Vince Vaughn, recruiting in the van, streaking, fire mascot, Will singing. Yep, all that I liked.
That was everything on my list too. Literally, it says earmuffs, Dan Band, Frank the Tank streaking. Like
streaking, yes.
It's like the same exact list.
Yeah.
I was really disappointed. I don't go into these. I don't pick these movies and think like I'm not gonna like them. Like we put this on the list because we thought it would be fun. It's like school's getting ready to start, so we did Just One of the Guys and Old School, and we have another school movie coming up next week's episode. I thought maybe it would be fun to talk about this movie and that there would be some things but I've forgotten how mean the movie is. It's just mean.
It's just mean humor, which I think was in at the time.
Yeah.
And we've actually, like, we've talked about covering movies and then went, you know what, it's not even worth talking about. Like,
right.
we we're not there just to shit on movies. We want to have fun.
Yeah.
We want to have a good time. And I really was looking forward to this because I hadn't seen it so long. And I just remember You're the Man, Blue, and all that stuff. Like, You're my boy, Blue.
Yeah.
I remember all that. And I was just like, where was that movie? I feel like maybe because I saw the unrated version, so maybe it was even uglier than normal. I don't know. But
how often did you see boobs in this unrated version? Because I just remember the women in the wrestling.
Oh, it was all over the place.
Oh, okay. So like every party scene, there's just a woman in the background.
Yeah, there's
with
somebody's
no shirt.
randomly like topless. Yeah. As one is at parties.
Totally.
Yeah.
I do that all the time.
It's just the old sexist tropes. And I think it's just, American Pie. I remember when that became a thing.
Mm-hmm.
All of a sudden, every year we had an American Pie type of movie, like a sex comedy. And this is just for older people.
Yeah. American Pie, I would defend it in that I felt like the women were in control in that one.
Absolutely.
And I think that that's really cool. And, all this one time at band camp and all that. There's actually like legit jokes in that movie. And there's also a lot of gross shit. But I actually like the women in that movie a lot.
Yeah, well, everyone has a scene. Everybody has a time where they can shine, and I think that's like what's missing here.
Mm-hmm.
And the same thing with like just one of the guys. Like everybody had a scene where they got to be funny, and not be the joke and everything. And here, like they're just always shitting on people. Like everything's just so mean.
The joke is that they're yelling at people in public.
Yeah,
and I'm like, well, that's not hilarious to me. I guess so. I'm sorry. I know that some people super love it. And somebody, Jennifer Moline tweeted to us like, are you guys going to ruin my childhood? And I was like, maybe.
Depends how old you are, Jennifer.
Like, we're going to ruin your 20s. Sorry, Jennifer. Because this movie did not hold up for me at all. It just felt so mean and ugly. And I don't think I want to revisit Wedding Crashers, and I already know I won't like Knocked Up again. I didn't like Knocked Up at the time.
I had problems with it at the time, and I know Katherine Heigl. People have issues with her. I've heard different things about her and her reputation, but I'll say this: like her problems with that movie, I agree with her.
Yeah,
like the way her character's treated, the way there's a lot of things in there that she said. I think she had valid points. I just don't think she put them across very well. But it's another thing of like man children doing whatever the fuck they want.
Right. And that we're supposed to be like cool with it.
Yeah.
I wonder if Seth Rogen would actually make that kind of movie now. I feel like he's a little bit more he's a little bit more mature than that now. Although he did make a movie called Sausage Party like 2 years ago.
I just heard him this morning. He's being interviewed on the radio. And he's doing a movie, and it's about kids.
Oh, yeah.
But the kids are like have filthy potty mouths, but they don't know it or something like that. And I was like, yeah, he hasn't grown up that much.
Okay, I'll take it back.
I like him, but I like Seth Rogen. And I think he's great on Twitter.
Mm-hmm.
I genuinely like him. I don't have any problem with him, but I do have a problem when movies just make all of the women, just scold, just humorless. Scowly.
Yes.
Or just dipshits that do anything the boyfriends want. I hate that.
And that's what this whole movie was. Maybe they could have at least had a woman pledge their frat.
Yeah.
How about
that? They would do it now. They would do that now, I think.
Just give us like one female character who isn't like a love interest or isn't wearing or nothing.
It doesn't pass the Bechdel test or whatever that's pronounced. Yeah.
It does not.
No.
Do you want to hear about other movies from 2003?
Please.
Some of them are really good, and some of them are super terrible. So here's the top 10 movies. Number 10, Bad Boys 2. Number 9 is X-Men 2. Oh my gosh, there's so many sequels on this list. Number 8, Matrix Revolutions.
Is that the second or third one?
I don't even remember. I think it might be.
I only like the first one.
I only like the first one too. I think it's the third one because I think the second one is Reloaded, and then Revolutions. Yeah, I didn't like the third one at all. It was terrible. Speaking of third ones that are terrible, number 7 is Terminator 3, Rise of the Machines.
Oh my God, all these sequels.
I know. Number 6 is The Last Samurai.
Is that Tom Cruise?
Yeah. Did you see that one?
No.
I don't think I saw that one either.
I think it would probably be really offensive to me. And I'm not an Asian person, but I have a feeling there's something
I'm gonna pass.
whitewashing going on. Yeah, I'm going to pass.
Number 5, Bruce Almighty. I think that's the one with Jim Carrey, right?
Yeah.
That one was okay.
Much.
That was fine.
Yeah.
Number 4, Pirates of the Caribbean, Curse of the Black Pearl.
Is that the second or third or fourth one?
Or the fifth
I only
or the
like
sixth.
the first one in that franchise.
Yeah,
by the
same.
Way. Yeah.
I feel like this might be the second one. So I did not like it. Oh, here we go. Number 3, The Matrix Reloaded. They came out the same year?
That is so stupid.
That's crazy. Also, they're both terrible. Number 2, Finding Nemo.
Oh, that's cute.
That one's really cute. I've seen it a gazillion times since then because Calvin was obsessed with it, and it's really, really good. And then number 1 is The Lord of the Rings, Return of the King.
Is that the second or the third?
That's the third one. This one I know.
I like the Lord of the Rings movies, yes.
I do. I like the original, those 3, the Fellowship of the Rings, the Two Towers, and Return of the King. I love those. So that's a really good one. It made a ton of money. It looks like it made, my God, it made like $1 billion. It's like, no joke, $1 billion. Damn.
Yeah, a guy I went to high school with worked on those movies. He got to live in New Zealand for 2 years.
God, that sounds amazing.
Oh, he said it was incredible.
I bet.
Okay, so you ready for some songs from 2003?
Yes, I am.
Okay, sorry. All right, here we go. Eminem, Lose Yourself.
That's an awesome song.
Really awesome song. Totally holds up. B2K, Bump, Bump, Bump.
I don't know that song.
I didn't either. I had to look it up on Spotify.
I might know it if I heard it, but
I didn't know it. I played it on Spotify.
Okay.
I didn't recognize it.
I trust you.
J-Lo, All I Have.
Okay.
50 Cent, In the Club.
Oh, I love that one. I still sing that one.
Clay Aiken, This Is the Night. And finally, Beyonce and Jay-Z, Crazy in Love.
Oh, that song's amazing.
Yeah.
That is so funny.
Yeah.
The reason I said that's so funny, this popped into my head was my husband used to go to something called a crazy like mixtape party where you would pick like 3 like really terrible songs and put them on a mixtape, and then everyone would play the mixtapes and everyone would vote for which one was the worst. And David picked Clay Aiken's On the Wings of Love.
Oh my God.
I keep thinking about the minute you mentioned Clay Aiken, I was like, Clay Aiken, Clay Aiken, Clay Aiken. He was on my mind. On the Wings of Love. Clay Aiken. One of the worst songs
He was a thing.
Ever. He was a thing. He didn't win, though. He was just runner-up of
Who
American
won?
Idol.
Ruben Studdard? Was that his name?
That's right.
Yeah.
Look at you. Good pull.
I don't even watch the show, but I knew that.
I watched like the first 5 seasons, maybe. And then I stopped watching when Simon Cowell left.
Simon Cowell, by the way, got the worst plastic surgery ever. You need to go to radar.com.
Okay.
He Frankenstein himself.
Oh my God.
It's the worst thing. And he's like, oh no, I just lost some weight. I went vegan.
Whatever.
Like, no.
Whatever. He's so vain. He's so vain. There's no way he didn't get plastic surgery. I'm totally going to look it up. Yeah, I used to love American Idol. I was totally into it, and everyone used to tease me, and I would vote. I would totally vote. And and people were like, I can't believe you vote. And I was like, well, why the fuck would I watch a show if I'm not going to vote? What's the point?
You know what? I watch all the Real Housewives, so I can't judge anybody for anything. I've invested 10 years just in New York itself.
Oh, I can't even tell you like how much people made fun of me for watching American Idol, but it's fine. I'm like, if other people want to watch it now, I think, didn't they bring it back? I think
it's with Katy Perry and Lionel Richie.
Oh.
And some other guy.
I still won't watch it, but
no.
But enjoy, everybody. What else are you dorking out about?
I've told you about this person, and I've been dorking out like maybe 2-3 weeks now, almost every single day to Lizzo.
Me too.
I can't stop listening to her.
Same.
I just go to Spotify, I type in Lizzo, and I just play her songs, or I say, Alexa, play Lizzo, and I play all these songs. I just think she's so great. And then you were so cool to tell me about the Tiny Desk concert she gave on NPR.
Yeah.
And that is one of the greatest things ever. I mean, it's all on YouTube. You can see for yourself. She's so joyful, and her music is so fun. And I've been playing it in all of my classes.
Yes.
Before the class starts, you put on some music, and everybody's like, oh my God, Lizzo, I love Lizzo. I'm like, she's totally on my brain.
She is bringing the country together. We can all agree that Lizzo is awesome. And seriously, I got the Lizzo bug from you because you mentioned the song Juice, and I was like, oh, I don't know this song. And I listened to it, and I was like, she's fucking rad. And then downloaded the album. I've been obsessively listening to the album. And then today I downloaded her, I think it's the EP that came out before, called Coconut Oil, and it's got a song on there that you would love called Good as Hell.
Oh, I know that song.
Yeah. I had never heard it before. I'm like, because I'm lame. I don't know shit about music. So it's just, it's really, really catchy. I'm singing it all the time. I made my husband listen to the album, and he's like, hey, she's like a hip hop Amy Winehouse.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's a great description. Yes.
I haven't been this excited. Like, at this Amy Winehouse, and then Lauryn Hill, when Lauryn Hill had her album that came out in like 99 or 2000. I listened to that all the time. Like, this is how excited I am about it. Like,
weird. Are we the same? Are we the same person?
What is going on between us?
I know, because I haven't had this reaction since Amy Winehouse to someone where I'm just like obsessively listening, and I was like, I want to see her in concert. When's she coming here? And of course it's sold out, but I was like, I'll pay attention. Maybe I can still get a ticket or something. And I don't go to concerts anymore because I'm old.
Yeah, no, but for her, I would like to see in person because she brings it.
Yeah.
But if Saturday Night Live has any brains in their head, they'll have her as a musical guest this season because, and she's, I mean, just guys, just listen to her. She's just amazing.
She is.
Just Lizzo. She's it.
I love it. I have been obsessively watching Glow on
I've
Netflix.
been watching it too.
I fucking love this show. I love it so much. I don't binge watch things. It's not really my style. And like, I like to watch like 1 or maybe 2 episodes, and then I stop and I like to process. But for some reason, when it comes to Glow, I do not do that. I just go right on to the next one. And so I've already watched like 5 or 6 of the episodes. And I did that over like 2 days.
Yeah,
which is
same here.
Unheard of for me. It's not my thing, but when Glow comes back, I always do it. And it's great. I love the 3rd season. I think it's really, I just love all the stories they're telling. And they're going places I wasn't expecting them to go, and everyone's getting like their moment to like to shine and like tell their story. And I really, really love it. And I think
I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
It's a nice antidote to old school.
It is.
Because this is where it's all women, and all the women have the stories, and the men are just sort of on the back burner. And I mean, but even they get a chance, like Mark Maron's really good.
Yeah.
I just think, the cast is amazing. The songs are great. The costuming is incredible. I wish I watched Glow back in the day.
Yeah, I didn't watch it. I didn't even know this was a thing. I feel totally out of it. But I think Allison Brie and Betty Gilpin are really, really great as the 2 leads. And I think Mark Maron is funny as shit.
Yeah.
In this show. And serious when he needs to be. And like, there's a whole thing about like his relationship with Allison Brie and where it's going. And I think it's just really well done.
Yeah.
I really, really like it. It's just, and I can't remember the actress's name, but whoever plays Sheila, which is the girl who dresses as a wolf.
Yes.
And like kind of where she's going. It's very moving. I actually really, that story is the one that's like kind of touching me the most right now. I don't know how far you are into it, so I don't want to
I
spoil
forget if
anything.
I'm in episode 5 or 6, but yeah, her. There's actually an article about her in Vulture today, and she's very pretty.
Yeah.
The actress, like she doesn't look like a wolf person in life, but she really commits to it in the show. That she's really and I feel the same way. It's just it takes place like 1985 in Las Vegas.
Yeah.
And like, why would I give a shit? And I'm totally into it.
And Gina Davis is on there now.
And we forgot to mention Gina Davis, and she's great.
Yeah. Anything with Gina Davis. Come on, you guys.
Yeah.
She's rad. We should put some more Gina Davis movies on the list.
Absolutely.
I have been wanting to revisit, I think it's called The Long Kiss Goodnight. Do you remember that one? She did like an action, like kind of an action movie with like Samuel Jackson. I remember fucking loving that movie.
I don't remember it.
I'm going to put it on the list.
Put it on the list.
Fun. Anyway, Margot, where can people find you on the internet?
You can find me on social media at Brooklyn Fitchick, mostly on Twitter and Instagram, and my blog is brooklynfitchick.com. And Sonia and I, we also co-host What a Creep, which is a podcast where we talk about creeps. So please go check that out, you guys.
I know it doesn't sound like it's fun, but it's actually super fun to talk about creeps. You guys will like it. If you like this show, you will like What a Creep. So please listen. You can find me at The Sonia Show on Twitter and on Facebook, not very often. But you can also find me on my website at thesoniashow.com, and you can find Dorking Out everywhere. We are at dorkingout.com, and you can find us on Twitter and Facebook at Dorking Out Show. And you can listen to us. You're listening to us right now, but you can find us everywhere. Apple Podcasts, if you want to give us a review, that would be thumbs up. Apple Podcasts makes everything hard, and reviews help us find our people.
Yep.
And this was super fun as always. Thanks for talking about old school with me. I needed to process.
You're my girl, Sonia.